Pablo Picasso once stated, "We all know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realise truth." From painting and poetry to symphonies and sculpture, the arts bring beauty and illumination to some, confusion and frustration to others. But what is art? The idea of a work of art, created by an artist, did not truly exist before the Renaissance. And what value do the arts still have? Do they still make us realise the truth, or are they increasingly rarefied and obsolete in this digital, disposable age? With me to discuss the wide spectrum of the arts are Stephen Merchant, graduate of the University of Warwick and award-winning writer.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Karl Pilkington, a man with no qualifications, very little education, but who is now known the world over as a man with a head like a fucking orange.
Alright.
Well, I suppose if I can pick up on something from your introduction, Ricky, you posed the question, in a sense, what is art? It's a very broad term.
It's a very difficult one as well. I think the earliest people to ponder it were the Greeks, and I think they thought that art was, and its point was to try and emulate as close as possible the beauty of nature. So they knew art was a sort of, you know, a quest for beauty, and I suppose they thought nature was pretty perfect in its aesthetic, and so the point of an artist was to try and tap into that.
Well, let me throw that question over to Karl Pilkington.
What do you want to know?
Well, we were just trying to clarify what art is. Ricky's just referring back to the Greeks.
It's just something for your eyes to look at.
Right.
It's just a change from the norm, innit? I mean, that's why I think most people have it. But then, the problem is, I'd never buy a piece of art. I don't see the point in buying something, because I know that my eyes will get bored of it eventually.
Right.
So it's better to keep it in a museum, like a lot of places, you know, a lot of museums keep the stuff, they rotate it, because people get sick of looking at it. They shift the art around, don't they? People go, I'm sick of that now. They move it around the world, let someone else's eyes look at it.
Well, that's more to get everyone the chance to see it, as opposed to the people who looked at it once and now sick of it.
Oh, not the shitting Mona Lisa again. If
No,
I
but
have to
how
stare
many
at
times
that
can you
little
look at the
bitch.
same thing? I think there's a snobbery with art. I think people do go,
Well, I
have you
think
seen the new one at the Louvre? Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I think
it's
there should
lovely.
be a snobbery with art.
Why?
Because the world is full of idiots, and just because there's not safety in numbers with art. I think you should be a complete fascist when you're creating a work of art. I don't think it is open to utilitarian or democratic referendum.
At the
You end
end
up
of
with the X Factor winner that way.
No, I know, but that pleases the masses. That's what I'm saying. When there was a painting knocking about when I was a kid, right, called the Blue Boy.
Yeah.
Now every house had one, right? It turned out that it was just a bloke who had a load and he was flogging them to everyone. But the thing is, that sums up art to me. Someone's got a load, do you want one? Go on then, I've got a wall to fill. And they stick it on. It's not, no, what does that represent?
Well,
What's that going to bring to the room? It's just filling a gap. And that's what art is to me. It's filling a gap that would otherwise have nought in it.
but you're obsessed with the functionality of things. This is all you're ever obsessed with. What's its function? Things always need to get you from A to Z in some way. And art's not about that.
Have you got much art in your house?
Yes.
Mm.
Because it gives me pleasure, and I don't get tired of it, I don't get bored
Do you
of
look at it every day?
Well, it's there, isn't it? It just adds
Yeah, but other things
a
are
pleasure
there.
to
Dust
it.
is there, but
Surprisingly, I've not compared
I think
art
I've
to dust as often as I perhaps should. But the thing about, and this I think may be intriguing to you, Damien Hirst, of course, is more of a conceptual artist like Tracy Emin, and a lot of what contemporary art does is followed on from a guy called Marcel Duchamp, who I'm sure you're familiar with. Now, he famously took a gentleman's white urinal like you'd find in a pub toilet, and he put it on its side, and he signed it with a fake name, and he put it in an art gallery. Now, he did that in about 1917, perhaps a bit later.
it just annoys me, because there'll be snobby people who haven't got a clue, and they're looking at that and they go, oh yeah, see what he's trying to say.
Well, that might make them think. They might.
Damien Hirst, I don't feel angry with Damien Hirst, really, because he's
Right.
getting away with it.
But why does that annoy you?
Because it's people falling into the trap. Damien Hirst, before he dies, I bet he goes, what a laugh that was. I had everyone on.
There's a very good point as well, because some people think that the greatest art form of the last 100 years is marketing.
Yeah.
Some people say that that is his art, that it's not good enough to do it. You've got to then get away with it. And if the point of art is to inflame, I don't think anything inflames people more than the discussion about whether something's art, or if someone's taking the piss, or if someone gets 50 million for something, do they deserve it? Is it worth a hospital?
Well, what do you think? What do you think of the shark in a tank?
I think I was blown away by it. I thought I'd never seen anything like it before.
It was sort of spectacular because it is so huge and so vast, and to have put a shark, you know, in formaldehyde and to have hung it in an art gallery, it's very striking when you see it.
Yeah,
it's a remarkable achievement.
But what is he? Is he an artist or a fishmonger? What he's done, anyone could have done what he did.
Yes, but not everyone did it. He did it. This is an interesting point that you raise. It's the same old point you always raise. Not anyone could have done it. That's always the same point you make. Anyone could have done it.
Karl,
but they didn't do it.
You could say the same about Michelangelo. Is he an artist or a painter and decorator?
Well, it hasn't caught on, has it? Like the crying boy photograph. No one's having them in their house. No one's gone, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen the new trend, a shark in a tank? No one's got the room, no one wants it. And that, to me, shows you what's popular. At the end of the day, if everyone wants one, he's got to be good, hasn't it?
But I think if people were given a chance to appreciate more sophisticated things, then they would. And I just think I think that's true in all walks of life. You know, it's an acquired taste. And the best things are an acquired taste. They really are.
Well,
you know, if all you eat is processed cheese and white bread, you get a taste for it. But if you try something that's, you know, in my opinion, better than that, then, you know, you'll leave that behind.
That's pretty rich coming from you.
I know, I love a bit of cheddar, don't I, on Mother's Pride.
Yeah. Whereas if you were to be offered perhaps some calamari, your reaction would be...
Squid, get it out of my face.
Sure, yeah. But I take your point, Rick. Thanks for it anyway.
Calamari was an artist, by the way.
I mean, I haven't got pictures in our flat because of that mirrored wall I've got.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it's tiny. You've been in it. I've got windows on one wall, door to get in on the other, kitchen on the other, mirrored wall on the other. So there's nowhere there. There's no space for art.
I'm intrigued how you sit at home. Where's the sofa?
At home?
Yeah.
Facing the mirror.
So you sit looking at yourself all night?
Yeah.
As opposed to a painting?
Yeah, but at least that changes each day.
No, it doesn't.
It does, the picture changes.
No, it's not. It's round and miserable. Every fucking day.
No, honestly. It's good to... Because you don't look at yourself otherwise. Especially me, I haven't got any hair to comb or anything. So I don't look in the mirror as much as the normal person. So, whereas now, I'm looking there every day.
So you're sat at home staring at yourself?
No, because the telly's in front of the mirror.
But are you not distracted by yourself?
Yeah, you do. When the adverts are on, you look up. And if Suzanne's sat next to me, I tend to talk to her through the mirror.
What do you mean? So, why don't you look at her when you talk to her?
Well, you don't have to turn your neck or anything. There's no neck usage going on. I can just look forward, I look at the telly, lift the eyes up, look in the mirror, look at me, look at her.
What does she do? Look back at you in the mirror?
We're used to it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like there's more people in the room in a way. It's like,
and they're further away!
There's nothing odd about that. Why wouldn't you use... It doesn't matter.
Sorry,
remember, your eyes
why wouldn't you talk to your girlfriend via a mirror all the time? Is that your question?
Well, no, I think it's quite normal. If your head is facing a mirror where you can see everything in that room, remember, it's a small flat, I can see everything that's going on in there without moving my head. Stephen Hawking would be well happy. So I can look forward, she's sat next to me. If I'm watching the telly, I can say something. Now, she's getting the sound from me still, because she's sat close.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're further away, but things look better from a distance anyway.
So that's how you've managed to keep this relationship alive?
Maybe.
You're such an odd little man.
But no, it's not odd. You see, there was a woman on the estate who did use... have I told you about Miss Peggy before?
No.
It rings a bell. Go on.
I think I told you ages ago, it's this fat woman who used to be on the estate. She had a three-wheeler bike. And her husband...
Push bike, pedal bike?
Yeah, like a tricycle thing, but a big one.
Right.
She used to sit her husband in the basket in the back. Cycle about, what have you.
Yeah.
She was known as Miss Piggy. Anyway.
Oh, is this the one that she used to beat him up so your dad pretended to be a policeman?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
The one, yeah. You remember?
No, I don't remember this.
Yeah, she used to always duff her husband up and that, and people in the area knew that she was being a bit tight on him. and my dad went round with his mate and sort of...
But what's this got to do with the mirror?
Anyway, well, the way she used to communicate, she used to always go in quick save and nick biscuits. And if anyone went up to her to say, stop nicking the biscuits, she'd pull out like a little mirror out of a bag, and she'd look in it, but talk to you via the mirror.
Oh man!
What? So she was insane.
It's weird, isn't it?
It was really weird.
Like
it used to scare me.
It's like a Salvador Dali painting. you exist in there.
Yeah. It's really, really
So
weird.
hang on. So she used to talk to people through the mirror because she was mental.
I couldn't sit, watch the telly, and look at me watching the telly in the mirror all night.
No,
That's
no,
weird.
that would
Why?
be really weird.
It's really weird, Karl.
I'd be very conscious of myself.
No, yeah,
conscious
I
of the
think
way
it
I
gives you,
sound.
it gives you confidence and that, and if you are
Gives you
sort of...
confidence.
Well, yeah, because you're seeing yourself more and you pick up what habits you do and stuff like that.
So what have you changed through your viewing of yourself?
I sort of grew a beard the other week, just something different to look at for a bit. And then you get sick of that, it's like a piece of art. Change that, have a bit of a shave.
Can you see the back of the telly in the mirror?
A little bit, yeah. If the flat's a mess, it's a mess twice.
The earliest art, which we know, which we call cave paintings, they date back between 30 and 10,000 years BC. Even those people tried to brighten up their cave with a bit of art. So in many ways, they were more advanced than you.
Yeah, but they didn't have a big mirror. I mean, if you're living in a cave, let's face it, you're not going to go mad if your kids start drawing, doodling on the cave wall, are you? Doesn't matter.
Right.
Brighten it up. But they always did the same thing. It was always a yak, wasn't it?
Well,
It was always a yak.
Yeah, but they drew what they saw. I mean, yeah, I love the fact that 30,000 years ago they're being criticised for being a bit literal.
No, but surely, if all you ever see when you step out the cave is a yak, do something different on the wall for when you get in.
What?
Why is it always a yak on every wall?
Is it always a yak?
It's always a yak. Whenever you see these Tom Robinson Time Team programmes...
Who's Tom Robinson?
He's the guy who did Motorway, isn't he?
Yeah, and a 70s singer-songwriter. Tony Robinson, you mean?
Tony Robinson, whenever you see him digging around, they say, hold up everyone, get the brush, what's this? It's always a yak. Yeah, they pretend they're interested.
So you're saying that you wouldn't have, you'd have been no, I'm not going to draw a yak, I just saw a yak outside.
This is what I'm saying to you about trends. One person has it, the next caveman goes, oh, I'll have one of them on my wall. Oh, I'll do a yak. Why was there no one just doing something a bit different?
Well, it's not true. They did. It's not true. This thing about it's a yak.
It's just in your own head.
The programmes I've seen, I've been to Pompeii, where they had doodling on the walls, and that was all like knobs, tits and arse,
Yeah.
all over the shop. Now, do that now, people go, that's a disgrace, rub that out, clean that, get it down. Whereas now, if you see one in Pompeii, they go, oh, look at that, look at the detail on that.
Well,
And
yeah.
that's what I'm saying, there's snobbery in art. It's the same knob. The knob has not changed.
Yeah, but I imagine in 50,000 years' time, if they dig up, a cubicle and there's tits and arse, people will take pictures of
It
it
won't
again.
be. This is the interesting thing with the way we live now. We're cleaning stuff up constantly now. There's no almost no record of our time because we're getting rid of everything. We clean everything up. Everything's clean. Getting rid of rubbish. Recycling everything.
Well, that's a very good point. Is graffiti a valid art form?
Some of it is.
I think it is, yeah. I mean, we're not talking about the classic spunking dick, which is still, I mean, it's still great, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if
you see a lovely clean white wall and you see a spunking dick on it, you're going to laugh.
always laugh. Do you add hair to the testicles when drawing the smoking dick?
A few. The testicles.
Because it's always clean. My testicles are always clean.
Really?
Yeah, I never.
I put the 4 or 5 bristles sticking out straight.
See, I always thought that was a kind of commoner version.
It
of
looks like mine looks like I don't mean my real one. I mean my
your illustrative.
yeah.
Cotton balls,
It looks like 2 gooseberries and Thunderbird 2.
Do you add much detail at the tip of the penis?
No, it's a straightforward. It's dissecting across, just a line across to show the helmet.
Yeah.
Then one little line for the
And
the
do
eye.
you tend to keep the same number of droplets coming out? Skunk droplets?
I do 3, but I don't do the line. I actually do the little teardrop.
The little teardroplets of spunk, yeah.
And that is the spunking dick. As
When I was at school, it was referred to, and this may be specific to Bristol, it was referred to as the sacred. I've just drawn a sacred.
Oh, really?
I don't know where the origin of that was.
Some graffiti's funny. I saw one in London. It just said, Rachel is a big-arsed, big-chinned cunt. Now, I think Rachel's going to see that and know, I'm the only big-arsed, big-chinned cunt round here. I don't know how big her chin was.
Sure.
I think of her chin maybe looking like the arse.
Yeah.
It's like the big arse like that, but maybe she couldn't see the last part of it because the chin was in the way. Rachel is and that's
now,
all she
where
could
was
see.
this graffiti written?
It was in, near Centre Point.
So, do you think someone was so angry with Rachel?
Maybe Rachel nicked this woman's fella.
Right.
And she went out.
Yeah, and schooled that.
Yeah.
In a lot of different places. I saw one that was something, I don't know, it was back in Bristol, it was something like, Michael Peters is gay. And I always wondered if that was Michael Peters himself, who was having trouble coming out of the closet.
Oh, yeah.
And was just writing that in a number of different places. So that by the time he finally mentioned people, they went, oh yeah, I knew that anyway, I saw it in the toilet.
Sculptures. What do you think of sculptures? I mean, because that's something that really is getting into the 3D world there, isn't it? No longer do you have to represent something as 3D. You can make something. You know, the statues are amazing, aren't they?
They're clever, aren't they? I mean, they always look the same.
Well, that's not true, is it? Because recently there was quite a controversial one, a huge one, in London. The pregnant thalidomide woman. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Thoughts?
I wouldn't have it in my house.
Well, there wouldn't be room, because it would just be you, Suzanne, and a pregnant thalidomide watching telly.
I don't know what he was trying to say. It's,
Maybe she was saying, okay, we've had the human form. This is an example of the human form.
Yeah, but do you think she started off trying to do normal, and it was like, oh, I've chipped a bit off?
One of the arms got chipped off.
Well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? And why, you see that square, Trafalgar Square, you've got that. Nelson's column, he's got one arm and a leg missing or something and a patch over his eye. Then you've got the thalidomide. Why can't they just do a full person?
Well, that was what they saw. That was what the artist saw.
It's about confronting us with certain preconceptions of what we expect of the human form, what we expect of sculpture. It's probably a little ironic comment as well on the famous Rodin. It's wrapped up with all kinds of ideas of maternity, of the human form, of what sculpture is. Why wouldn't you put that in a big public place?
But what about the subject? Did you think, who's that subject? Who is that woman?
No, not really, because the thalidomides are around and we've all seen one. It's not like a shocking image. It's one of life's little things that it chucks out. There's some out there. So
Amazing.
it's not shocking, is it? I don't understand what you mean. I think what I thought is, it just goes to show we're sort of running out of ideas.
What do you think of people who are so angry at art, they try and censor it, or they try and destroy it? Do you think art should ever be censored?
It's where you put it. If it's in a gallery, then it doesn't have to be censored. If it's in Trafalgar Square, where everyone's wandering around having a nice time, you don't want a 12-foot cock. So it's all about where you put it. I think some art looks better because of where it is. Angel in the North, that's a bit of art, but it's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? You're driving along a miserable motorway.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that over there? Gives you something for your eyes to look at again. Motorways are the most boring place to drive. But you go, look, there's a bit of art over there.
Yeah, but then
Angel
again, should you
North.
be looking at art when you're going at 70 miles an hour along a motorway?
Well, yeah, because it's really big. You can keep your eye on it and
Look in the mirror.
It's not a problem.
Wait till you go past it and look in the mirror like normal.
So you like the Angel of the North?
Because it's something in the middle of nothing.
Right, but if you put it somewhere else...
Stick it in Trafalgar Square, you'd go, oh, more clutter.
Now, you've spoken Karl, about, you know, art and what impact does it have, blah, blah, blah. And as Ricky's just pointed out, of course, in some instances, art has been considered incredibly controversial, very provocative, and has been banned. Famously, one thinks of the Nazis banning and burning certain books, not all of which were just books, you know, criticising them. It was often artistic works, things which they felt were subversive in some sense, and you get that in many repressive regimes, where people's artistic work is not allowed to express the way they feel about something. Stalinist Russia, for instance, art there, literature, are not able to express its views because people see it as dangerous, as provocative.
Well, yeah, the threat always comes from scholars, with, like, any dictatorship, you know, and they know that.
But not just scholars writing, you know, scholarly texts, criticisms, but also people expressing themselves through poetry, through creativity.
Well, yeah,
things which are not direct.
dangerous. Yeah.
They can be abstract, and yet they can still be subversive.
Yeah, but I think if it's done in a way that isn't just like a lunatic, they get away with it. Like a nice poem, some people would read it in a different light. I might read it and go, I don't even know what they're going on about there. So, as long as it's done clever, get away with it, don't they? So
well,
it makes the artist better.
But that's not often not the case, that's what I'm saying. Often, in these regimes, these things are repressed.
No, but there's always, like, code words and that you can use and they can't have you on it.
Such as?
I don't know. I'm not into that sort of work.
Right,
Well,
so you've just made a statement there, but it's not backed up with any actual
No,
information.
what if you
Well,
do
there
it
was
in
a good
clever
point
way?
there. No, there was a very good point there. The McCarthy era, where he was threatened by communism infiltrating the country, and he thought that entertainers might be a part of that, the conspiracy. It was a hotbed, and he made everyone come forward, writers, actors, say they're not a communist, and some people were out in the cold, and so people had to be a bit cleverer, like was it Arthur Miller, The Crucible? It's a metaphor. It's about witch hunts, but it's about the McCarthyism. So yes, good point. You can put coded messages
CB
into
radio
art.
was the same thing.
Go on.
Well, it's all the codes. As long as you've got
Okay,
codes.
well, I thought you had I mean, I was trying to make your point sort of more valid than it obviously
No,
was.
but if you need to refer to CB radio, that's the obvious.
Well,
the
that's
obvious
what I can
justification.
relate to.
Sure.
Yeah,
And-
we've done this. There's no point in CB radio. They go, how many candles are you burning? What? How old are you? 8. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's no point to those codes at all, you know.
But this is in no way relatable to The Crucible. Why would you be talking about one of the most respected plays of the 20th century, and suddenly this, in your head, reminds you of CB radio?
Just having this code going on that only certain people know how to break.
Everyone knew it.
No, it's
pointless.
Not back then they didn't.
Pointless. I remember we were shown the cartoon version of Animal Farm when we were about like 15, 16. We were discussing it afterwards about great, communism versus the poor proletariat and all this. And this bloke went, "You lot make me sick. It was just a nice film about some animals." Brilliant.
Yeah. What's your take on that, Carl? No, go on. What's your point? Because you can see the irony there, can't you?
I haven't seen it.
No.
If you want to do a serious point, don't use animals.
No? Well, I disagree with that because, we're gonna get onto literature later, and I think, my favourite is probably Charles Dickens, and I think the greatest story ever told is A Christmas Carol, and there's only one way that could ever be improved, and that is a Muppet Christmas
That's
Carol.
absolutely right, yeah.
So, and I think that I think people could take a lesson from that and maybe do other films with the Muppets. A Muppet Schindler's List.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make it so moving, couldn't you?
Schindler's List in space! Yeah. Well, I think it would certainly help bring that story to a wider audience.
I think so.
A
Yeah.
lot of people who are, like Karl, who were put off perhaps by the depressing black and white of it, they would suddenly see the Muppets singing and dancing.
Miss Piggy's Choice.
Miss Piggy's Choice, yeah.
Well, we talked about that.
What?
About things like that in art as well. Do you think that bringing something so serious to the masses, like films do, things like the Holocaust and like Sophie's Choice, where she has to choose which child lives and dies.
Why does she have to pick?
Well, because the Nazis were horrible, nasty, evil people.
And which one did she pick?
I don't think that's the point. I don't think that's the point.
I love the idea that
this is not a betting game.
No, but I imagine this is like Deal No Deal. It's kind of you're down to the last two. Which one you're going to go for?
Oh God. But why did you ask which one did she choose? Because Even if he'd said the names, Robert and Alison, what difference would it make? You don't know the story. Why is it that
because
you've
then
said...
I'd ask more then. If he said Alison, I'd go, what was it with Alison? What did she have over Robert? That's what films are meant to do. You question it. Whenever I watch a film with Suzanne, I always say at the end, what was going on there?
That's because you're an idiot!
Christ!
That's because you've just watched Muppet Christmas Carol and you can't understand why a frog's able to talk.
I'm all for films with a good storyline.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a perfect point. One extraordinary point.
He's gonna follow this up, mate. He's gonna follow
He's got
this up.
something there. He's got something here.
Carl, go on then. What's your
No.
take on films?
Films are really good. You can get lost in them.
Right.
And
You like one with a good story?
I mean, whenever anyone asks, it's always the same. It's Elephant Man. It's Kes. Mission Impossible 2.
Mission Impossible 2. These are what you consider great works
No, I'm
of
just
film
saying
art.
these are ones that I've enjoyed recently. There's so many films that I haven't seen, yet you always say, "Oh, have you seen so and so?"
Well, Mission Impossible 1.
And there's good news for you. 3's out.
That's true. One of the most striking art exhibitions that I ever attended, Karl, was an exhibition of outsider art. Something I'm sure you're very familiar with. Outsider art, of course, is work that is made by people who are often institutionalised for mental health problems, or they are just incredibly, the people who aren't in any way part of the art establishment.
Well, right up to psychopathic murderers, clinically insane mass murderers would count as outsider art. I went to an outsider art exhibition in New York. It was incredible, and I bought a painting of this guy. He's a chronic schizophrenic, and he paints in tar, like road tar that he gets from roads, and he paints in that on wood he finds in sort of skips, and it's incredible because it's sort of like scratched in. And it's amazing. And there's this thing of Jesus being helped down off the cross, and you have to study it, but it's there, and it's quite incredible that it's just scratched in this wood by tar. And there's loads of things that I was walking round. Admittedly, I was walking around there going, "This is fucking mental." And James was going, "You've got to stop saying that," because of course some of the people are mental. There was one bloke who done a sculpture of a skull, right? And underneath, it was like a little head with his teeth. Underneath he'd put a sign that said "real teeth." Where did he get the real teeth from?
What I think is interesting about that is how much therapy it provides for these often mentally unstable people, which is another important value of art, of course. People's self-expression, people being able to give a little piece of themselves through their work. Do you not see any value in that? How do you express yourself?
Whistle.
You whistle.
Yeah, I found over Christmas I whistled a lot more than I usually do, and I think that was just freedom.
What do you mean freedom?
Right,
freedom.
expand on this point if you would.
Well, that's what art is, isn't it? It's you being free of all the world's heaviness on your shoulders.
See, that's a great quote, that. That's great, that. For art is freedom. I love that, because I think you've really hit on something there.
Would you include the free of all the world's heaviness?
Well, I know what you meant. I know what you meant there.
Would you include that one in it?
I mean, I would include the world's heaviness in my freedom. You know, some artists are attracted to the dark side, the heaviness of the world.
But I just want to return to you whistling as your artistic expression of freedom. I mean, why did you find yourself whistling more?
That's what was weird.
So just take us through a typical day. When would the whistling begin?
So this was that you spent Christmas down in Kent with Suzanne and her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could I suggest something? Your freedom was thinking, I'm in my own place now, I'm going to annoy them.
Well, it was mainly, it's when we were playing Scrabble. And they were taking ages to have their go, and couldn't have the radio on because the boiler affects the radio. It works, it just gives something off. Every time it kicks in, the radio goes all staticky.
Right.
So I just was sort of supplying the soundtrack.
I think you've really hit on something there.
Would you include the free of all the world's heaviness?
Well, I know what you meant. I know what you meant there.
Would you include that one in it?
I mean, I would include the world's heaviness in my freedom. You know, some artists are attracted to the dark side, the heaviness of the world.
But I just want to return to you whistling as your artistic expression of freedom. I mean, why did you find yourself whistling more?
That's what was weird.
So just take us through a typical day. When would the whistling begin?
So this was that you spent Christmas down in Kent with Suzanne and her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could I suggest something? Your freedom was thinking, I'm in my own place now, I'm going to annoy them.
Well, it was mainly, it's when we were playing Scrabble.
Mm.
And they were taking ages to have their go, and couldn't have the radio on because the boiler affects the radio.
You've got boiler problems down in Kent as well?
It works, it just gives something off. Every time it kicks in, the radio goes all staticky.
Right.
So I just was sort of supplying the soundtrack.
And what kind of things would you be whistling?
It was like, I just sort of did a whistle medley.
Mm.
It was going from one thing to another.
A Wedley.
And a man was impressed. She was like, oh, you can whistle, can't you? I was going, yeah. And then she was saying, how loud can you go? I was just doing all different levels.
Sorry, this sounds like a scene from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The boiler's setting off the radio. I can whistle. Oh, you're good whistling, aren't you? Oh, let's grab out. Talk about outsider art.
I love the fact that Karl's life is like living in a home.
It
when
is.
you're in your 80s.
Yeah.
But you felt that this was your way of expressing yourself.
I just found it odd, because I don't whistle that much. I think just because I think I'm fed up most of the time when I'm in London. And you don't whistle when you're fed up, whistling's a happy thing. You never get an angry man suddenly breaking into a
well,
whistle.
the people who aren't whistling are usually pissed off. But yeah, the bloke who's whistling, it's like, it's the least, he's the least annoyed person in the room when someone's whistling. Same as holding a drill. The only person that noise doesn't annoy is the bloke who's drilling. Everyone else wants to punch his face in. Same with whistling. Whistling, there's no point in whistling.
No, there is.
No, there's not. The only point to whistling is in a bloke's changing room. Everyone's whistling, going, I'm not looking at your cock. If I'm whistling, I can't be looking at your cock. Anything else, there's no calling a dog, maybe. Calling a dog.
It changes the atmosphere.
Yeah, it annoys everyone else.
Dunno. I mean, our window cleaner was known as, like, you know, that's how you knew he was there. He always whistled. And in the end, he fell off his ladder, broke his front teeth.
Oh.
Retired.
What, because he couldn't whistle?
That was it. It was like,
Well, yeah, he whistled all the time.
Can't whistle,
Well, yeah.
can't clean windows. It's a bit tragic.
Could he take along a whistle? Just pop that in his mouth.
Yeah, I suppose he could have done. I didn't think of that.
What about a flute? Or a recorder? Not London's burning again. Fucking clean the windows and then fuck off.
He didn't really think this through, did he? He retired at the age of 28. And his whole family were bankrupt.
With no teeth.
Yeah.
And just a bucket and a squeegee.
Why aren't you working, Dad? Because I can't whistle.
I can't whistle anymore. And if the day you give up whistling is the day I give up window cleaning.
So you never whistle?
No.
I can't really whistle very well. No.
I don't whistle, but I can whistle better than that.
What, you did this for hours on end while playing Scrabble?
About 2 hours.
2 hours?
Hell.
Put my word down.
And then, sorry, can we just hear that again? Can we hear it?
So you were whistling after you'd had your go as well?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hell, Karl.
But hang on, let's just hear a bit. That is Karl's self-expression. That is his artistic self-expression right there.
A name. No tune, no nothing.
There's mental patients who have smeared canvases with shit who have expressed more than you have in that.
Yeah, but it's not about other people. I'm not there to please other people.
Right. You're there to annoy them.
What was the best word you came up with in Scrabble?
Don't knock me at Scrabble, because I do alright. What's weird is, when I play Scrabble, my brain can come up with words that I don't normally say.
Okay, this isn't... No, I'm intrigued here. Your brain can come up with words you wouldn't normally say.
Just words that I'd never drop into a sentence.
Tree, cat.
Go on.
Squirm. That's using a Q. It's worth 10, that. It's not bad, is it? No, I'd never say that.
I've never heard you... I don't think I've ever heard you say squirm, no. I don't think you're right, Karl. I've never heard you say squirm.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is weird.
And yet your brain popped that one out.
And then, yeah, when it wasn't my go, just... Anyway, so that's sort of doing art for yourself as opposed for other people.
I don't think you can count what you just did then as art. Hobby maybe, craft, pastime. I don't think you can count that as art. I'm not being funny. I'm being a bit snobby here, but I think there's a difference between Beethoven and Squirm. There's a cue in that.
No. Classical music. I wish I was more educated on classical music. That which I've heard, I've adored. I genuinely find it challenging because it is so spectacular. It is so of another place. Where do you sit with classical music?
It's good for background, I think.
Right.
See, you know me, I like a song with a story, and there's nothing going on in them. That's,
Now the problem with that is, how many times can you hear the same story?
quite a lot. How many times can you watch the same film? Same thing, except it's shorter than watching a film.
Yeah, but the film goes into the story with more depth than a 3-minute song.
Yeah, but there's also, do you know, like when you watch, what's an example? Say, I can't think of a film.
Yeah, there's not many.
No, but a moment in a film that it doesn't matter how many times you watch it, you go, I enjoyed that bit.
Godfather swings to
Well,
mind.
say, no, over Christmas, On the Buses was on the movie.
Oh, Jesus.
When-
You went
when-
with The Godfather, you went with On the Buses. I mean, Brando, Varney, I don't know which is better.
It was the bit where, like, the toilet blows up after chucking a fag in. That's had paint in it.
Right, sorry,
seen
that's in On the Buses, that's not in The Godfather, I can't remember that. Maybe that's Godfather 2.
Well, the thing is, I enjoyed that bit and I knew it was coming. It's like, oh, I'll just watch this before I nip out and put the kettle on. Let's just see this
How
bit.
many times have you seen the On the Buses film?
Probably about 4 or 5 times.
Sure, why not?
But all I'm saying is, music is there to sing over.
No, it's not!
Music is there to sing over.
That's a ridiculous thing to say. Music does something to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know why a chord can say something to you. I don't know, mate. Gives you that feeling. I'm in awe of it. I'm in awe of musicians.
Yeah.
My favourite piece of music is a thing by Vaughan Williams. It's 5 variants of Dives and Lazarus, right? And there's a bit there where it hits this chord, and I can't listen to it when I'm away from home because I well up. It reminds me of everything. England, just it does something to me, and it does it on a level that I can't sort of quite understand. It's just immaculate.
I just
Again,
don't think you
few
can
things are.
beat a decent vocal on top of that.
Oh, that's amazing!
My mum's got a CD of Roger Whittaker, right?
Right, whistling again.
Now, he whistles Jealous Guy. Now, the thing is, I can't listen to that and whistle along. I end up singing Jealous Guy on top of it.
So, singing trumps whistling.
Yeah, when someone else is doing the whistling.
Okay.
I like whistling, but if someone else has did that first...
So
then
if
I'm
Roger was singing Jealous Guy, you'd be
I'd probably
whistling.
whistling it. To make the classics live on, I'm surprised someone hasn't gone, I can add to this, and dub on a bit of vocal.
So you would have classical music with lyrics.
Just for people who
Beethoven's
want that.
Fifth. Beethoven's Fifth. That would be better to you. That would.
But what are you meant to do with it? What do you do when you've got that on? Then do you whistle along? Or
No,
do
I
you
don't whistle
hum,
along.
hum?
I let it. Oh,
Do you
Karl,
whistle along?
I just don't know what to say.
Why are you obliged to whistle? That's the only way you can enjoy music if you can whistle along.
Well, that's the same with anything. A good song, you join in, don't you? It's like, oh, I like this one. Yeah.
No.
So by that token, YMCA is one of the greatest of all tunes.
I mean, it's not one of my favourites, but you can't knock it. It certainly gets the crowd up. I did DJing, and
Why do you care
that
about
was
the
more
crowd?
popular.
Who are this crowd?
Well, I'm just saying.
Who are this crowd that you have to live in your head with? Fuck the crowd. Most of them are idiots.
Although, admittedly, if I was doing a wedding DJing set, I probably would do YMCA over Vaughan Williams.
And why is that? Because it's happier go lucky. It's done in 3 minutes. Classical music goes on for ages. It
No, it's a
fades
good
out,
point.
Who's got
fades
time?
out, it comes back in again. Well,
It's a good point.
it's all over the shop.
Are
Yeah.
you going or are you staying?
It's over time, and I'm not saying we should get rid of it, and I might grow into it, because I think that's music for older people.
Well,
You're an idiot.
I think Mozart would distree, I think he did his first symphony when he was 5 or 6. Probably playing piano and writing music before you could read.
When did the piano come out when he was a kid?
What do you mean?
If it was trendy to have a piano when he was a kid, it's like how kids now, they're messing about on Google at the age of 2. Because the laptop is new. It's new to us. To them, it's like, well, it's Google, isn't it?
What's your point?
Because he was born at the right time.
Beethoven.
Yeah, he was born...
Mozart. So you're saying that all 3-year-olds around the time of Mozart were brilliant?
There would have been quite a lot of them. Mozart, Beethoven, all that. They're all... Handel. They're all around the same time, aren't they?
Just guessing. Wild stabs in the dark. Just names he's heard. Just names he's heard. So when Ricky was young, when I presume Rolf Harris's stylophone came out, everyone was composing on the stylophone,
Yeah, exactly.
It's all what you're brought up with, isn't it? Nothing's hard if you're given it when you're a kid. Nothing's difficult. It can be taught all sorts. I haven't got room for a piano. It's too big for a pastime. A hobby shouldn't take up a whole corner of a room.
It's so limited, isn't it? His scope, his imagination.
But a piano, the idea that a piano in a house would be a frustration and annoyance.
Music.
That you could play
harmony.
that.
But I'd worry about annoying other people with it as
No,
well.
you don't. You whistle when you're playing Scrabble. You don't worry about annoying people at all. I'm sure people would rather have gentle piano music in the background than squirm. Squirm. So one of the earliest and most celebrated art forms that's, you know, along with painting and music still going today, is the play. And of course, the most famous and celebrated exponent of that is our very own William Shakespeare. Some say maybe the greatest literary genius in history. I'm not a fan.
Right.
And I'll tell you why I'm not a fan. One reason and one reason only.
Sure.
Nothing to do with the structure, his themes, fantastic. The pun.
Right.
Oh, I can't stand the pun.
Yeah, but I mean, although Shakespeare did include a few puns in his work, I don't think you could...
No, I suppose it's the people that have taken on the pun. It just reminds me of a bloke in a beard and a pipe at a party doing puns, you know. And it's things like Shakespeare, things like, oh, take their maidenheads. And you have to look at your Brody's notes to go, okay, cut off their heads, and take their virginity. Oh, brilliant. You know, you can't, it's like, you can't explain a joke in retrospect. You don't laugh if you then explain to you.
I'm gonna have to take issue with the idea that Shakespeare was not a truly great master of our language.
I think he was.
If you listen,
he added to the language. He invented words, or at least he stole words and changed them a bit. He took them from, you know, other languages, which is totally valid. And he made up loads of sayings that are still around today. And there's a poetry in that, inventing new. Actually, Karl, you like sayings, don't you? Got a list here of some of the sayings and phrases that Shakespeare made up. Really, in a pickle was his.
Yeah.
And we know what in a pickle means.
We know what it means. It's a saying I'd never use. Because when you're in a pickle, it's not something that you would say.
No, if you're being if you're captured and you're being tortured for information,
yeah,
you wouldn't, and you get access to a phone, you wouldn't go, MI5, I'm in a pickle. You'd be screaming, going, he's taking my teeth out.
Much as I love Shakespeare, is when that play was first staged and someone said during the play, ooh, I'm in a pickle, did the audience understand, or were they baffled?
Or was it like watching Ken Dodd when he goes, "Yumbunctious"?
Exactly.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah.
So Shakespeare is about as good as Ken Dodd.
That's what we appear to have established. While you've been talking about that, I just was looking on the computer at the Pun of the Day website, because I feel I take much of what you say about puns and agree with it. There's a couple that you might like. There was a sign on the lawn at a drug rehab centre that said, "Keep off the grass."
Okay, now if the pun is the lowest form of wit, and let's face it, sarcasm isn't, sarcasm is up there compared to the pun, then the drug pun, I think, is one of the lowest of the low. Oh, people who congratulate themselves on getting drug references, keep off the grass with. Grass, get it? Grass, you know, smoking the grass, yeah.
Show me a piano falling down a mine shaft, and I'll show you a flat minor.
Oh God, okay, good, okay.
Do you get that?
Well, these are, I mean, that sums up puns, isn't it? It's things that kids get in a cracker. I think pun should be short for punch him in the mouth.
Idioms are better.
Go on then, what's an idiom? Is that a new word you made up?
No,
I think Karl Pilkington's a complete idiom.
I found out what it was because I thought, oh, I like them, what are they?
Right.
And it's like little sayings.
Yeah, that's right.
That sum stuff up.
Go on, give us an example of your favourite.
Oh, can I just say one, talking about sayings, Karl was getting fed up with something. He was fed up with not getting replies from something. He's having a hard time, you know. And, I went, oh, the worm has turned. He went, What? Oh, the worm has turned. You know, you've...
Stupid saying, isn't it?
No, well, okay, tell him why you think that's a stupid saying.
Because how do you know when a worm's turned? Of all the creatures that you could flip over and know it's turned, why pick a worm? It's the worst thing they could have picked to express something turning.
But you're taking turning literally. It means changing, doesn't it? Changing your attitude. A new broom, turning over a new leaf.
Yeah, but
things are going to be different now, and I'm sick of it.
Chameleon.
No, but
chameleon is a brilliant thing to use for something to change. Chuck that in a sentence. There's nothing that you can link a worm to human life to. You're talking about something that's... It's blind, isn't it? It's blind, it's deaf.
Gay.
It's got no features.
Why is he having such a go at a worm?
Just because it's a weird thing to use. Something that... Its arse is more... It does more than its head.
That could be said of you, Karl, to be fair.
We've talked about what art is, we've talked about painting, sculpture, we've talked about music briefly, we've talked about whistling over music to make it better. Poetry. A completely different type of art form there. Karl, what's your thoughts on poetry?
I've never really been a fan of it.
There's a surprise.
I think it's sort of... It's alright for the person who's doing it. You know, you say that whistling is just for the whistler. But I think poetry's more like that, because sometimes you read it and you're thinking, what's he going on about? It's always a bit... I don't know, it's sold in a bad light. It's a bit sort of... a bit gay, innit?
Right.
I mean, it depends what sort you're talking about, because maybe there's poetry out there that I haven't heard.
There's some poetry gayer than others.
Yeah.
War poetry can't be gay, can it? That was people...
I haven't heard... Go on.
People fighting in the trenches and... That can't be gay. They weren't gay. They were writing to their sweetheart. I don't know his name. It might have been a bloke. I don't know. But
so was it a sort of a what sort of poem was it? Was it sort of a limerick? Sort of a
no. It was. Well, there's famous ones, Wilfred Owen and Siegfried Sassoon, and they're very moving. They're about you know what usually happens is that they talk about why are we here. This is we've been sold a lie here, and they really started seeing war in a different light from their point of view in the trenches. Famously, some of them died soon after the,
But I prefer
written the poem.
a proper letter. No sort of crypticness. That's the problem with poems.
Okay, so you'd have been disappointed to get Dulce et Decorum Est through the post, would you? You'd have just said, what are you trying to say, mate? What's the weather like? When you're coming home? Did you get my socks?
Well, yeah, sometimes life is a bit like that, and it's like, say what you mean.
Right. Well, then you have just wiped all art off the face of the earth if you literally just say what you mean.
No, I'm just saying in a letter. Say if I was a woman and my fella was fighting in a war.
Right. What's your fella's name?
Harry.
Okay, so Harry, let me get this right. So when were you married?
About 1935.
1935. So you've been married about 4 years.
Yeah.
Harry, why don't you go off? Oh, you're a woman, aren't you? You don't look like... Okay. So what did you see in Harry? Why did you like Harry? Was he?
He just was like funny.
Butch.
He wasn't that butch, but that didn't matter back then, did it? In the war.
No. And you
took everyone.
But what did you say when Harry said to you?
Well, I thought it was coming because a lot of our friends ended up having
Did
to
you just
go
hug him and say don't go or something?
No point, because that would have just made it tough for him. So what's the point? Just go with it.
But if he
I cried after he went.
You cried after he went?
That's what you do, innit? You wouldn't do it in front of him. He's got to go to battle.
Okay, so your man goes off to battle.
Right. Then I get a letter from the Colonel saying, "Oh, bit of bad news. Harry's dead." Now I get a letter in the post.
He said what he meant, didn't he? In the
Well, yeah, and they would do, wouldn't they? They wouldn't fanny around saying, "Oh, he was on the warpath and the cloud went dark." I go, "What? Just tell me what happened. I don't want a weather forecast."
He got shot at the arse and the bullet came out his head.
Right. Now, the Colonel, he would just tell me the basics. Now, because he sent his by
Telegram.
They sent a telegram. The letter I get from Harry has been stamped, so I get it late.
Oh, okay.
So I get a letter from Harry, after he's died.
Yeah.
Right, and you know he's dead.
I know he's dead, so I get
Right.
this letter with his handwriting on. I'm devastated because I was just getting over his death.
Yeah.
It's all brought back to me when this letter drops through the post.
Well, yeah, 3
Right.
days and you're pretty much over it.
It's
Yeah.
his handwriting.
Yeah?
Oh, God, what's this?
What's
Now
he
I
written?
open it,
Yeah.
and instead of saying, things are bad here, socks are damp, you know, everything's grim, it's cold, I'm sick of it, there's a poem. It wouldn't feel like it was from Harry.
Well, what,
Because it's not in his words. Poems are never in the person's words.
But did you know Harry was a poet when you married him and made love to him
No,
that
I only
night?
picked it up because other people were doing it. Something to do in the trenches.
But when he carried you over the threshold, Karl, and he laid you down and gently kissed you, didn't he say any? Didn't he ever?
He must have whispered some sweet nothings into
No,
your
it wasn't
hysterical
like
red
that. It
head.
wasn't
No,
like that. Straight
no.
to the point. It was like, get your knickers off.
That's one of the weirdest fucking scenarios I've ever heard. I've ever fucking. Why the fuck was the telegram coming before the letter? So specific. It wasn't like Harry. The fuck's Harry? Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! There are a few things gayer than poetry, though. I want to throw one into the pot. The continental breakfast.
Oh.
The continental breakfast. That annoys me when I see it. Who orders that? If you've got the choice of eggs, beans, burger, chips, sausages,
Bacon.
all that, you've paid for it already. If I was a waiter and someone said, what do you want for breakfast, mate? And the bloke went, oh, I just have a little bit of grapefruit juice and a croissant. I go, do you? Do you want some cum on that? Or you can go back to the hotel and suck a cock?
Yeah.
So,
No, I'm with you there.
What else is gayer than poetry? I remember when I was at school once, right? The worst thing you could be growing up was gay.
Yeah.
In school, it was the worst thing. It was and I remember I was about 14, 15. I was talking to this bloke. I talk about him on my stand-up. David Beasley. He's the one that said if you get captured by cannibals, they show you pornographic pictures when you're in the pot, so you get an erection. And there's more meat to go around. So he was an idiot. He made Karl look smart.
Wow.
Really.
Wow.
He said, you know that thing that kids always do, what would you rather be, blind or deaf?
Yeah.
We did that, and we discussed that for a while, and he went, what would you rather be, blind or queer?
Mm.
And I went, well, I'd rather be gay, because...
Still got all your sights, yeah.
And he went, oh, would you? I went, well, yeah. Well, rather than be blind. I said, yeah. I said, also, if you were gay, you'd like being gay. He went, I wouldn't. I went, no, you would. I said, if you were gay, you would like being gay. He went, I wouldn't, Gervais. Sounds like you would. I went, well, if I was gay, I would like being gay. He went, well, I wouldn't. And he looked at me accusingly, and I went, no, nor would I, but gays would. Which made no sense at all.
Right, yeah.
Just
yeah,
the idea,
yeah.
but this is just like such a stonewall that I'd rather be anything than gay.
Yeah.
Karl, thoughts? Blind or gay?
This is about art, is it?
So there you have it, our comprehensive and definitive guide to the arts. Next in this series is philosophy.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one enormously, Rick, because of course you have a honours degree from the University of London in philosophy.
Yes, but I predict that that one will also be as big a load of bollocks as all the others we've done. Thank you.
Just to remind you that you can still get the Ricky Gervais Guide to Medicine, the Ricky Gervais Guide to Natural History, and now, of course, the Ricky Gervais Guide to the Arts.
Philosophy is the science which considers truth. So said Aristotle, one of the great forefathers of Western philosophy. In its attempt to seek out the truths and principles of human existence, philosophy must answer questions of beauty, of justice, of language, indeed, of the mind itself. To help me consider some of the core concepts and presumptions of philosophical inquiry, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, graduate of the University of Warwick, an award-winning writer.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And Karl Pilkington, a man with no education, didn't really go to school, no awards, head like a fucking orange, you know the twat.
Right.
To me, philosophy might be the greatest subject of all academic subjects, the mother of science, asking the big questions, why are we here, how do we live? but it's been sort of mugged and kidnapped by those people who put rubbish under the umbrella of philosophy.
Right.
Cod philosophy. I went to a library once, I looked in the philosophy section, and there was a book by Doris Stokes.
Doris Stokes being, for those that don't know,
a medium who said she was talking to the dead. There's crystals, feng shui.
Feng Shui, yeah.
Oh, God.
The interesting thing about Feng Shui is how, I remember someone came into an office I was working in once, and she said, you're going to need crystal here above the lavatory to get all the negative chi out of the cistern, and she said, this crystal is £25. And the guy went, we're not going to spend that. And she went, okay, I got one here for £5.
Brilliant.
It was surprisingly convenient that she had a number of different crystals that apparently did the same job.
We're also going to need a brush to get the shit out of the toilet. What have you got for that?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, that twaddle. There was a woman I remember once, I used to do a radio show on the BBC World Service, and she came in and she could tell from the coloured liquids that you chose, from a big selection of coloured liquids, she could tell a lot about your personality from that. So I picked up about 3 or 4, and she looked at them and I chose like a blue one, just arbitrary, and she looked at me and she said, okay, I get the sense that you like to communicate with people, but on a global level.
And you were working for the World Service.
As we spoke, we were broadcasting on the World Service. I don't know where, I mean, she just read it from the liquids. As a novice, one of the key catchphrases, if you like, of philosophy, and one that's always intrigued and confused me a little, is the famous René Descartes quote, I think, therefore I am. A lot of people think of that as the epitome, in a way, of a philosophical statement. First
thing we ever did, I think, at degree level, and it's the one thing I'd already heard of. It's one of those things that sort of filters down, cogito ergo sum, as you say, I think, therefore I am, when Descartes was pondering his existence. Just before we get to his conclusion, Karl, how do you know this isn't a dream?
Just because I haven't been sleeping that well.
Right, okay.
No, but you could still be dreaming, couldn't you? Because this could be a dream that you haven't been sleeping lately. You could be dreaming the last few nights you haven't been sleeping.
In dreams, they're different, like, I mean, like I say, I don't have that many of them, because I don't sleep that well. But when I do have one, there's something different and vivid about it. Now, if I was dreaming all this, I reckon my boiler would have been fixed ages ago. I don't think anyone has a dream that goes on for that amount of time.
Well, it could be a nightmare, but the presumption, I think you're also presuming that the dream that you could be dreaming needs to be exactly the same as the dreams you think of when you're dreaming. My point is, there's no way of you knowing that this life you're living now as you talk to us is real, and that it's not actually the imaginings of another Karl somewhere else.
There are actually no clues, Karl. There are actually no clues now that this is the real thing.
Well, most of the time, it's 1 minute I'm awake, next minute I'm asleep, then I'm awake again.
Yeah.
Sleep's just...
You know the bit between you being awake and awake again, that's called a sleep.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever think things while you're asleep?
Vivid things.
It's that bit between the awake and awake I want to look at.
I told you about one ages ago where...
Go on.
Where you burst in and I was on the toilet.
I never had this dream.
The one that it was like everyone was German and it was at some gig or something, and you opened the door and everyone was looking and laughing at me, and I'm sat on the toilet, and you sort of said, oh, that's probably because you're uncomfortable with
fame
being put on the limelight.
Yeah, that you might be yeah, possibly, yeah.
But that's one dream that could be true.
But exactly. Or there is a likelihood that you think, I bet he's going to burst in.
I am always on edge when I use the toilet here.
Yeah,
I kind of think, is he busy at the moment?
You have to wait till he's on the phone to go for a piss.
I have to sit there holding the lock.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing
it isn't
to do.
normal. It's not normal.
But there's an example of a dream. But I think what you're failing to grasp is not so much the mechanics of whether this is a dream, but that you cannot know the truth of what you're experiencing. You cannot know that this is reality. It's a question about reality.
So
how do we know what
to
reality
that then?
is?
What reality is and what we like about reality. Robert Nozick did this thing that if you could go into a flotation tank and you led a whole virtual life, and it was the best life possible. You did exactly what you've always wanted. You became the person you wanted to be. You did the best things you could ever dream of doing, and you literally couldn't tell the difference. So it was your life, okay? And you lived your biological life out in that tank and died at 80 and had the best life any person could ever have. You could pre-program it. Would you get into that tank knowing what you know now, knowing that you would have the best life ever, with no heartache, no upset, no loved ones dying?
So what's happening when I'm sort of having a packet of munchies?
Yeah.
Am I having them, or are they imaginary?
They're imaginary, but you can't tell the difference. It's the best packet of munchies you've ever had. I love the fact that you went into the flotation tank, and your one proviso was, are munchies as good?
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I'm just taking it back to basics.
That is basic.
You've got to pre-program your life. That's where you'd start, is it? Munchies must always taste magnificent.
Well, it's just, if you can still enjoy the basic things in life, then that's when you can't go wrong.
You do. You enjoy them more. It's the life you'd ever want to live. And you're living it.
Bit
Sorry?
Bit dangerous.
Why? Go on, why?
Just, I don't know, because sometimes I think things don't happen for the best. Right?
Right.
Sometimes you can sort of think, oh, I'll enjoy that if that happens. And then it doesn't happen, and you've had time to think about
but
what
this
would
is
have happened.
perfect. No, this is built in. Because whatever happens is for the best. So not only when you're in this flotation tank are you enjoying yourself, that things just keep getting better or staying as good.
You never have a bad day.
You never have a bad day.
But how long would that last for before you go and fed up with this?
Well, why would you get fed up with it? Because you do something else. It's the perfect life.
Bear in mind, you're not aware that you're in the flotation tank. You've made that deal, but then once you're in there, you don't know, you're not aware of being in the flotation tank. You're living your life and it's perfect. You're happy. Well, we don't know how you would be happy. You just have munchies every day and...
Well, yeah, you'd get in it then. You'd get in it. If you don't know you've got in this tank... If I somehow go to bed at night, someone injects me in the head, and then they go, right, stick him in the tank now, and then I wake up, packet of munchies there, sun's out, Suzanne goes, oh, it's a nice day, we'll go and do something nice. And I go, you're meant to be at work. She goes, no, I don't have to go in today.
Right.
I go, alright, let's go out then.
Now, what's interesting there is that within this scenario, I gave you any life, you could do anything, and you chose the exact life you've got now, except Suzanne's got a day off. Now, I both love that.
Well, I was a bit suspicious, though, that she's just taking a day off.
No, wait, it's not happening now. It's not happening, really happening. You could do anything you like. But I like the fact now you're even questioning it. You're not in the tank, and why has Suzanne got a day off, right? Now, I love that, because that suggests to me that you're a nice, happy, satisfied, whatever you want to do it, contented person who's got the perfect life. However, it's almost like you haven't fully understood the possibilities. For example, you wake up, there's the munchies, sunny day, Suzanne's not at work, you go, why aren't you at work? She goes to you, hold on though, why are you flying? And you go, I just can. But you hadn't even thought that maybe you could fly, or swim, or hold your breath.
You just could have some munchies for breakfast.
Hang on a minute, this is day one.
Oh, okay.
When you go on holiday,
yeah,
like I said before, you don't turn up and go, right, it's 1 o'clock, jet ski for half an hour, bungee jump in 40 minutes after that, let's have a nice roti, and, you know, try a little cocktail.
And what do you do? What do you do when you arrive there?
Well, you get there.
Yeah.
The fella takes your case to the room.
Right.
You have that panic of, am I going to give him too much money? I don't know the currency well enough yet. I don't know how much
More
things
information
are.
than we asked for.
Yeah.
And the most mundane scenario I've ever heard.
No, but this is what happens in real life.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So you have that scenario. You go, right, where's me shorts? You get them on. You go out and have a wander.
In the case,
you have a wander round to know where everything is. The
Car
shop,
park you did
the
once.
shop, you know, how close the beach is.
Yeah.
Is it busy?
Yeah.
Okay, you're just telling us what happens when you go on holiday. What's your point?
Okay.
Because you don't want fun all in one go. You want to build to it, because that's sometimes part of it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So
anticipation. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, that little bit.
Yeah.
It's about things taking time, innit, and looking back at the journey and going, how did I get here?
Okay, well,
Right.
can I ask a question? Because, sorry, what I'm fascinated to know is, if you decided to sign up to the float tank idea, okay, you can design your perfect life.
But I'd prefer not to know I'm doing it.
No, you
won't know.
won't. But I
You
want to
won't
ask
know.
this question. Imagine Ricky and I are the doctors, okay? We can put you in this tank. All we need to know from you now is what your perfect life is. So we're going to program it in the computer. You're going to wake up tomorrow. You won't know this conversation's happened. You'll have the perfect life. What, if you don't mind, we're going to take notes now. What is the perfect life? You're still obviously living with Suzanne.
We've got
but
munches.
What else?
We've got munches and we've got sunshine.
But what else would you like in your magical life your ultimate life?
I think I'd prefer...
Hair?
No, because then I'd know it's not real.
No, you
No,
would
wouldn't
never know.
It just came back. Suzanne comes in one day and goes, "Why aren't you working?" She goes, "Look, okay, I've left my job. Can we leave the why am I at work? I'm always going to be here, right? I've got a new tonic, right, from Boots. She pops it on your hair. Boop, baby gorilla."
Yeah, I don't like this idea of suddenly Suzanne's never at work. I just think you need a bit of the badness to have the goodness.
Right.
Right. In
sorry.
a minute, you're going to be injected in the head, you're going to go to sleep, you're going to be in a floating state, but you are going to suddenly leave this office and it's going to be a virtual world. You can do what you want. You can suddenly go, "What was I hanging around with that bloke off the office for? I'm a spy." And you go to MI5 and they go, "Thanks for coming in, Pilkington. Listen, Drosky, he's coming from Russia and, he's got the, bang, what do you do? What's your scenario? What do you do as a job? We've got munches, Suzanne's never at work."
I'd prefer to leave everything as it is.
Brilliant.
Go in it, but have everything the same so that I'm going, hang on a minute, has it actually happened?
What are you talking about?
No, you don't know about this. You don't know anything that's happened.
No, because you've just said you're gonna put me in the tank and you're asking questions as to what I want when I get in it.
But you won't know you're in the tank.
Once you're in the tank, you won't know. You'll have a new life, a life that you've designed.
Yes.
You'd have different memories if you wanted. You could be 5 again, or you could be now, but you weren't born in Manchester.
I prefer it to be the same, with the same memories, but the difference is, when I next get British Gas round, they go, "Oh, Mr. Pilkington, yes,
Oh my God!
the boiler is
like
fixed."
to have a virtual life, so his boiler's fixed!
No,
Yeah, but so your boiler still goes wrong in your dream, but it gets fixed.
But you don't even need a boiler! You could be the perfect temperature all
This
the
isn't
time.
the Earth anymore. I don't like the idea of too much change. I don't want that much of a change.
But
to
you
my life.
won't realise, it won't feel like change.
Well, it's changed already. You're saying the boiler's been fixed like that. I prefer to still have that problem. Go, hang on a minute, is this different? Suzanne's still going to work.
Right?
That's very important too.
But then,
You don't want her around all day.
but then, things happen that wouldn't have happened in this world.
Go on then.
as?
Right, okay, let's write that. Well, let's see the differences. What do you do? Because I've got to program this. So you've got the same job, all that. Are we still around?
Yeah, because it's part of.
I'm
it's
going to ask
part
you a
of the
question
same
now.
thing.
Do I still squeeze your head every time I see you, rest you to the ground, and wind you up, trying to stress you out, call you at all hours? Do I still do all that? What am I like?
You're still the same, and you still do that, but maybe one day I go, "Don't do that anymore," because it does annoy me. And you go, "Okay." And then I've dealt with it. I've sorted that problem, as opposed to this machine, this tank deciding.
Right.
I don't like the idea of this tank
Right.
making life good for me.
Right.
I want a few problems, and if there's a problem, I want to sort it.
Okay.
But
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there. We're going to go back to this because it's fascinating. But Nozak concluded that no one would get into the tank because we'd rather have a real life with all its problems than a fake life. And I sort of think you've proved that by even getting into the tank with your provisos and scenarios. I mean, you've changed nothing except your boiler being fixed and me stop squeezing your head
But
now
hang
and
on a
again.
minute.
Which makes me think that you should have your boiler fixed. And then you will have the perfect life that you can imagine.
yeah, but it's that old chestnut, isn't it? It's the thing of like, what's my problem then? You've got
Right.
the problem gene in your head. You've got to fill it with a problem.
Yeah, he's not a geneticist.
Got the problem hole in your head.
No, it's
Got
not.
the problem hole in your head. Shut up, Ricky. Let him say what he needs to say. He's got a
said
problem
it.
hole in his head.
He's got a problem hole in his head. It's called his mouth.
Yes.
Right, that is your problem hole.
So, if someone comes up and they go, "I've fixed your boiler,"
Sorry, could I just ask
No, let him speak
Let
for-
me ask one question, Steve. Is the problem hole different from the problem gene, or is that a new term for...
No, you put things through the problem hole and they end up in the problem gene. You feed something in the problem hole.
Is that right, Karl?
It goes through the problem tube into the problem gene.
Okay, so it's down the problem conduit. Okay, go on. Right. So it's better to have... You've got a problem hole in your head, right?
Yeah. So you stuff in a problem into the problem hole. In
Okay,
it
yeah,
goes.
okay.
now all the little problems can't get in because of the big problem.
Right. Is that good or bad? It's a
But
good
that's
thing to
not true, is
The
it?
problem hole is a standard size on everyone.
Right, no, but that's
Shut
not...
up, Ricky, let him explain.
Now, Ricky, I'd say his problems are not even problems.
Well, how big's his problem hole?
Same size as mine.
Same size as yours.
But his problems are all little ones. They're like, you've got like a load of Skittles, I've got a big cream egg.
Right, but why...
Shut up! Let him speak. He's just expanding on his idea. Why do you
what is
keep
his
interrupting?
problem? What is your problem that's so big compared to my little
Those
Skittles?
are problems. You get stressed out about things that I'm like, what's up with you? You get annoyed easily with stuff. People chewing loudly, or someone breathing loudly, or someone coughing. Whereas I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like you say, to you, the boiler is like, get it ripped out, put a new one in. It's not as easy as that.
It is!
And that's why the problem ball is growing.
It's got a gene, a ball and a hole.
So the problem
No
ball-
wonder there's no fucking room for a brain.
Right, shut up. Let me ask. I want to clarify this. The problem ball exists in life. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It has to go through the problem hole, down the problem tube, into the problem
bounce
gene.
into the problem gene.
Right, now then. So you've got the problem ball. Everyone's problem hole is the same size.
Everyone's.
Okay.
But some people's problems are smaller, so they can slip straight into the problem hole.
I've got a question, Stephen.
Wait.
And listen, has anyone got a pair of problem balls? Or is it always just...
Because ladies have a pair of problem balls?
No, because Hitler had one problem ball, didn't he? But could anyone ever have a pair of problem balls, is my question to you.
And some people's problem balls are much bigger than another man's. Or another woman's, right?
Yeah,
Right.
depending on the problem.
So you could have you could have a pair of problem balls and one problem hole.
The way I'm
If you
saying
went,
it,
if you okay, look,
Listen.
so, supposing I came to you and said, listen,
But a man
it's-
starving in a foreign country might have huge problem balls.
he might have, but if I went to a doctor and said I've got a problem hole, and the doctor said, well, let me see it, and he said, well, let me see your problem hole, and hanging down in front of my problem hole was a huge pair of problem balls. What would he treat first? Is my question.
Well, would he look into the problem hole?
He said, he'd say, right, take your problem genes off. Right, I want to see your problem hole clearly.
But he would put his hand or his finger into the problem hole to try and remove the problem
He
ball,
would,
wouldn't he?
well,
Or the problem-
he could feel the problem balls, but he'd have to insert his finger into the problem hole, wouldn't he?
Right.
Okay, so Karl, go on then.
I'll just get in the tank.
Oh, God. Okay, so in a roundabout way, back to cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am. Descartes, pondering, how do I know this isn't a dream? Well, he concluded he doesn't. When he took it further to, how do I know I even exist, he quite rightly concluded that, well, if I'm even pondering this question, I must exist. Whatever I am, wherever I am, the fact that I'm questioning, introspecting, thinking at all, I think, therefore I am. Because I'm even thinking, at least I know one thing, that I exist. That's all he said, Karl.
I don't understand why he had so much time on his hands to be worrying about this. At the end of the day, get on with it.
You're not doing shit all, Karl. So why are you so annoyed at other people who aren't doing anything? You're going out in the morning, you're staring at worms, at bugs, you're staring at the sky,
You're
wondering why it
writing
hasn't fallen
books
on your
that
head.
you're making up the books. That isn't researched.
What do you mean making it?
What
up?
is it that you're doing?
One of the chapters in your book about travel was Australia. I've never been there myself. Forget it then. Throw it away.
No, because you can still have
You
thoughts
make up
on-
stuff about a grub eating a biscuit. We're all the same. I mean, what is that? That's not. But I laughed.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that book.
Listen, everyone like me who
That
bought
book
that
is
book,
absolutely pointless.
it is in my lavatory. Every time I pop in there for a shit,
Yeah.
just take it off the shelf, have a little read.
Yeah,
Great fun.
And I'm down to about 4 pages because sometimes I forget to get bog roll. But listen, that is a fun book to wipe your ass
It's a
with.
great
It
book
was,
to
it
wipe
was
your ass
me,
with.
but that book was good for me. I don't
Yeah.
know if anyone enjoyed it, but I was emptying my worry hole. and at the end of the day,
Your worry hole and a problem
You were
hole.
emptying
Hold
your
on.
worry hole.
Is that different to the problem hole? Your worry hole.
it's next to it.
Once the problem ball is being processed through the hole, is it deposited through the worry hole?
All I'm saying is, you're right, I do watch a lot of insects and stuff, and you never see them wasting time. They're always doing something, and ants carrying something somewhere. Sometimes I watch it and it goes somewhere and comes back again, you think, does it know what it's doing? But at least it's trying.
What you?
Now, if there was a
What
big...
is it doing though? What is that ant doing?
work. It's building a house
what's the point? Everything it does is pointless.
How can you say that?
It's pointless.
I'll tell you what, if there was a bigger sort of being looking over the world and they went, right, let's look at the human race, and, well, they'd look at the ants first and they go, right, they've got their hands full, they're carrying big stuff, they try to save time by carrying stuff that's way too big for them, really. They could do that between 3 of them, but they don't. They're all grafting hard. Then they go, right, hit the human button. They hit the human button, they watch the humans. The amount of people who are just sat about doing now. They're reading about Amy Winehouse, Lily Allen in London at 2 AM. So what? What are we doing?
I agree with you, but what are you doing?
You see, the ant analogy, joking aside, I think there you hit on the fact that life is about working for what you get. And I'm right behind that. I am right behind that. I think that's, I think that's absolutely true.
That's what I meant. What's dangerous is...
A boiling kettle to an ant.
At the end of the day, right? Yeah, but that's evil, isn't it?
What?
You know, I mean, you sometimes make out as if I'm an evil man. We had an ant problem in the garden. Suzanne said, we've got to get rid of these. And I said, well, it's a bit out of order, they are outside. And she said, yeah, but there's getting a lot of them. She went and popped the kettle on. I said, I can't handle this. I went in, right?
What, you didn't want to see the ants burn? That's sweet, you know, they're there.
Yeah, they might be causing a problem, but I don't want to see this mess. Now, the thing is, she went out, she poured the hot water on it, I left it a few minutes, I went out, I had a cup of tea, I thought, it's a waste of electrical line. So I took my cup of tea out there, and I'm sat there, and then I just saw one come back from wherever it had been. One ant. He looked devastated. Because that had been away. As far as that was concerned, it had been out to get a leaf or whatever. Came back, devastation. And it's that what that's the thing. It summed up death for me. That the ants that are dead, they didn't know anything. Suddenly they were there. Next minute, load of water, dead. It's the people who are still living in life that are the saddest, aren't they? After death. And that summed it up.
What do you think?
That ant would have been better off being there when it happened.
How could you tell the ant was...
What do you think? So you saw him...
I mean, they run around in circles anyway, don't they? But this was just kind of going, what's going on?
And what did it slow down when it got nearer the nest? Did it drop the leaf and then you see it run the last few inches?
It just kind of got close and it was like a double take almost. Almost like it got near the hole and then it was like, hang on a minute, this can't be it because no one's around. And then it walked on and it went, no, it is the hole. And it went back and it just sort of stopped for a minute.
Ah.
And that for me, that's the sort of thoughts Descartes should have been having.
What?
Things that you can look at as a human and appreciate it and understand it and go, yeah, that's true, that is like life. Instead of, oh, am I awake, am I asleep or what? No. Well, you might as well be asleep because you're doing nothing else.
Oh, God! Oh, Descartes! Winehouse, Allen. Slammed. What do you do towards enjoying your life?
I don't normally enjoy the thing when I'm doing it, it's after. It's like that holiday, when I was on holiday.
What do you mean, you don't enjoy the thing when you're doing it, it's after? What's an example of not enjoying the thing at the moment, but you do after?
You didn't enjoy the holiday?
Say like the holiday, I've just been
So you enjoyed
away.
coming off holiday? What?
I want to hear it. You enjoyed the holiday, you didn't enjoy the
when
holiday.
I'm there, I had fleas biting me.
Yeah.
I had mosquitoes biting me.
Yeah.
There was a funny smell of damp in the bathroom. I was worrying, getting in the sea, thinking, is there stonefish in it? Right? Now, you've got all that going on.
Yeah.
When you get back, you forget about the damp smell. You forget about the fleas, because the bites have gone. They're not as much of a problem.
Yeah.
So then your brain starts going, well, hang on, what did I enjoy? And you go, I enjoyed the dorada fish I had that I've never eaten.
Yeah.
That's an experience. At the time, I wasn't enjoying it, because I'm thinking, when I get back, I'm going to have fleas on me again.
Yeah.
So you remember all the good stuff. It's like an old person when they're dying, and they go, I'm having flashbacks. They don't say, I'm remembering the time my shoes were too tight.
What do they say?
They're having nice, they're going, oh, I loved the time with that.
I was wearing flip-flops.
No, they enjoy, they have flashbacks
Like
of the
what
nice
then?
holidays.
What do you think you'll
the
look back?
holidays and that, you'll go, oh, the lovely hot summer of '79.
So you don't enjoy anything you enjoy while you're doing it?
At the moment in time, it's
I
always
don't understand
afterwards.
that. I mean, that is the oddest thing I've ever heard
I think
about.
there's actually a medical term for it. There's someone who's unable
I've never heard of
to
it.
enjoy, to receive pleasure, to take pleasure.
It's really weird, that is really weird.
No, because you're busy doing the thing. So you haven't got time to enjoy it.
So you can't enjoy something you're busy doing, because you're busy doing it, you can't possibly enjoy it?
Or you don't know if you're going to enjoy it because it hasn't finished yet.
Well, Karl, but listen, I know from the at
Right,
the
say
moment.
this.
Listen,
Bungee jumping. I'd love
Right.
to be able to do it. I bet you get a brilliant feeling as you're
Right.
falling.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be enjoying it because I'd be going, is the thing going to snap?
Right. Okay. Well, there is something about that. Extreme sports. There is a reason why you're doing it. It is the after effect you enjoy because it's the fear and then the endorphins that rush to you and you go, "My God, I survived! Isn't it brilliant?" That's a feeling of euphoria. So that's
No, you're having a nice dinner.
right. Okay.
Now, when I get a menu given to me in a restaurant,
Yeah.
I go, right, what am I going to do here?
Yeah.
Right, well, when I came here, I thought I'd have some lamb chops. They've got lamb chops, great. Wonder how much to give you, because I quite fancy this pudding they've got.
Right.
Now, I have the lamb chops, it comes with extra veg. I eat it, I enjoy it. The pudding I wanted, it's gone out the window, I've got no room for it now.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed the lamb chops.
You enjoyed the chops. You can only get packed so much. If you're enjoying all your life all the time, there's no point in regretting anything.
That's just greed.
No, but I was looking forward to the pudding.
Well, you shouldn't have eaten all the veg.
Yeah, but I was enjoying it at that point.
But then you take the pleasure that you had at that point.
No, because I wanted a pudding.
Yeah, but
But you didn't want a pudding, or you've had a pudding.
No, because I would have had it for the sake of having it. And then it's
Yeah,
ruined.
but I don't know what the whinge is there. You had a lovely meal. You had some lovely lamb chops. You enjoyed the hour.
Because when I read that they had like profiteroles on there, I
Yeah.
thought I fancy a couple of them.
yeah, and then.
And the chance has gone. I'm probably not coming back to this restaurant now.
Yeah, but you
because
haven't missed a chance. You had the chance. You didn't want to take it because you were full up with lovely lamb.
It's
What's
not like
the
you
problem?
didn't enjoy the lamb and the veg. If you'd not enjoyed that, I can understand your point. But you had a lovely time eating the lamb and the veg.
If
Remember with
someone,
the
if
gravy?
the bloke came here and said you can have the profiteroles if you eat this lamb you don't like, you go, oh, and you ate the lamb, you didn't like it, but now you're full, then you could whinge. You wish I hadn't have been forced to eat the lamb. I could have the profiteroles. That's, you know.
I had a spicy sausage.
right.
Now the problem was I was enjoying it, but I thought this is the spiciest sausage I've ever eaten.
Right.
Now I could only enjoy that the next day night when I knew that it's
The
gone
next day
through my
night.
body. There hasn't been a problem. So I go, that was a nice sausage. I'd have one of them again.
Right. That was a nice sausage! But then the next time, surely you'd be enjoying it, because you wouldn't have the trauma of the next night, because you'd lived through it, and now you're just enjoying
But
the
the
lovely
problem-
spiciness and the sausaginess of the spicy sausage.
Yeah, but the problem is, once you've enjoyed something, it's very difficult to replace what you got from that spicy sausage the first time.
Then why are you looking forward to having another one?
Because let me tell you,
Go on.
Auntie Nora,
Yeah.
she's guilty of this all the time.
She
Right.
loves a spicy
Well,
sausage.
she, you know, I've told you she prepares all her food, right? She's got them all in bags in a freezer, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right.
She's got it all there. Now, what she normally does, she makes a big pot of curry.
Right.
She goes, what I'll do, I'll pop that in the Monday bag and I'll pop it in the Thursday bag. It's the same curry. Now, she has it on the Monday.
Yeah.
She loves it. She thinks I got the mix just right there. The spices are good. The
Yeah.
chicken was tasty.
I'm looking forward to Thursday.
I'm looking forward to Thursday. I can't wait for Thursday.
Right.
I'll call her up on the Thursday evening. I'll go, how was the curry that you had on Monday that you said you were having again on Thursday that you enjoyed? Didn't enjoy it. Why is that? Dunno. Just want the same. Now, the weird thing there is, it is the same. Auntie Nora, that is the same. It's from the same bag, it's from the same pot. But,
Yeah.
she was expecting too much. And that's the problem. If I had that spicy sausage again, he's never going to live up to it. So forget the spicy sausage. I've had it, I've experienced it.
So you're
If
never
someone
another one?
says, well, it depends.
So do you have anything twice, ever?
Maybe not.
But this is insane, Karl,
But
because
it's-
aside from you and your Auntie Norma and presumably all the other Pilkington clan, or all as weird as one another, why you phone her up and ask her what she's having for tea, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one thing.
What, and that shows not
you
only what is
that-
happening on Monday, but what you're going to do on Thursday as well. I'll make a note of it in the Auntie Norma food diary.
That's proof that you really aren't enjoying your life. now.
Exactly.
To go, right, oh, fucking
But
hell.
what
what
else
can
do you say
But
to
then
old
he's
people?
phoning her up again late on the Friday to find out how the Thursday curry went down.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
That's two calls that week.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's just
Just
good
read
to-
her journal.
No, it makes her happy, doesn't it, getting a call? She's got nothing else.
Yeah,
What
but
else
the
is
curry
she gonna
doesn't.
tell
The
me?
curry don't make her happy.
No, she did the first
They
time.
loved it on Monday. We should like it on Thursday.
Now, the question is it better to enjoy something once and not again than not at all?
But you're an
What do you
idiot
mean?
because
No,
you're the
that's
only
not the
person who
choice.
experiences this.
That's not the choice. That's not the choice for normal people. You can either never enjoy summer or only enjoy it once. You can enjoy things loads of times.
you can't.
That's what a hobby is. A hobby is enjoying things over and over again.
I haven't got a hobby, have I? That's why. I've had loads of hobbies in the past. I did the dancing, I did the boxing, I did, what else have I done?
That is it. I think that's what.
But that's what I'm saying now, I soon get bored. And it's like how you enjoy, you know, I love munchies,
Yeah.
but I always enjoy the last one more than...
Well, that doesn't make sense. That goes totally counter to your argument.
No, because it's from one packet.
What?
It's from one packet.
What difference does that make? The first one's surely your favourite.
No,
So
it's
hold on.
not.
So if you do have one munchie, I'll go as a munchie, mate. You go, I'm not going to take one unless I can have all of them, particularly the last one.
But what is...
Well, no, I'd like to have them all, please.
What? No, you can't have them all. Don't be so greedy. Have one munchie. Have the first munchie. There
But
you
I'm
go.
going to have one, and then I'm going to get a taste for them, and I'll probably want another.
Well, no, they're my munchies, though, aren't they?
I'll
Do you
keep them then, forget it.
Well, look, so you'd rather have no munchies than one munchie?
I'll go and buy a packet. I'd prefer to go, do you know what? I fancy a packet of them.
But why do you enjoy the
Okay,
why
wait.
do you enjoy the last munchie more than the first? Whereas
you know
you
that's the
enjoy the
last
first
one.
curry, but not the
But
second
you know it's
curry.
the last one.
Because I'm eating them all in one sitting. I'm not going, that's for Monday, that's for Tuesday, that's for Wednesday. I'm
Right.
talking about a packet of munchies.
Right.
I eat them. There's probably about 12 in a packet.
Okay.
I shove the first 4 in without even thinking what I'm eating.
Greedy bastard.
You shoved the first 4 in!
Without even thinking about what I'm eating.
Now, then, when you're getting towards the end, you make them last more, you might bite the top of them. You look what's inside them, you go, I'm liking this.
But
You know
hold
that
on,
last
what,
one?
every time?
What, every time you buy a packet of munchies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hold on, though. You must enjoy a packet of munchies regularly, then?
Not as often as you think. They have
Well,
an
I don't
offer
know.
of them.
Well,
No
it's not
opinion.
as I think. I don't know. So tell me how often you enjoy a packet of munchies.
Normally after sort of, maybe once a month.
So, every month, you look forward to a lovely packet of munchies. And the same experience.
Yeah,
You
but
like
at the
first
end,
one.
I like the last one.
The only thing you know you enjoy, look forward to enjoy, and it fulfills all those expectations is a fucking packet of munchies once a month. Fuck me. What do you think happiness is?
Again, you only know the happiness because of the badness. You've got to
Well-
have a yin and a yang.
Well, I know what you mean there. I agree with you on this because it's sort of no good to be handed it on a plate. I mean, just from my own experience, working for someone does feel better. Because you've got a pride and a satisfaction. I genuinely think it's better to start a business, struggle, go bust, come back, than win the lottery.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that, and the older I get, the more sure I am of that. That working hard is itself the reward, and I genuinely believe that. But where does it end? It's no point having the struggle till you die, and never get any happiness. So, what's your balance? We don't have to go into philosophical terms here. What's your balance? What's your yin and yang of a good life? And by good life, I mean one that you've enjoyed or been satisfied with, and one that you have no regrets or guilt or shame, and a bit of pride.
What are you asking me? I've got a bit of all that.
Right?
But you need the mixture, don't you? So you find out what your favourite thing is. It's like a bag of Revels.
Yeah, but you can't cherish guilt or shame.
Did you just say life is like a bag of Revels? Isn't that dangerously close to life's like a box of chocolates?
In Forrest Gump over there, yeah.
No,
Jesus,
but it is, isn't it? There's one or two in there that I don't like.
like what?
The raisin. The raisin
No.
with chocolate.
Yeah, no.
Now what I'm saying is,
metaphorically, what's the
Yeah, well, I'm
actually
using-
named what Revel he doesn't like?
yeah, well, I'm telling you because it works in life.
Go on then.
But the Revel
You like
is
raisins?
there.
Go on.
Well, maybe if you have
What?
enough raisin ones,
Yeah.
you eventually go, do you know what? They're not that bad.
What?
And that's the thing in life.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. So what are you saying? Where's this metaphor? Are you saying suddenly all the bad things in life are pretty good, actually, if you just
Well,
get used to them?
sometimes out of bad comes some good.
Go on.
At the end of the day, the Revel thing.
What happened to the munchie here?
Well, again, with life, if you have too much munchies, you get sick of the munchies. So move on, mix it up. What mixes it up? Bag of Rebels. You've got a bit of everything in there.
Right.
Even the ones you don't like, you might like in the end. You'll go, do you know what? I was wrong.
Okay,
I was
lose
wrong
the
judging."
analogy now. Actually just talking about rebels now in life. What about, what has he enjoyed before?
What would you have written to Jim will fix it to fix for you? What would have given you pleasure as a kid? Dear Jim, can you fix it for me to do what?
When I watched Jim will fix it as a kid, they never really lived up to what the kid wanted. Did they?
But what would you have requested?
But I don't think I would, because I think I saw how disappointed most of the kids were.
God, it's
A kid like whistling, they brought out Roger Whittaker.
Yes, because they look at it and they go, can you fix it for me to go into space? No. Can I dance with Bananarama? No problem. That's the ones they pick.
Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't write in, because whatever you ask for, you're always going to get a watered-down version.
But if Jim could fix it for you to do anything, what would you have chosen?
There's not many things I wanted as a kid.
One thing. Just one thing. To choose one thing, please.
That my name was Brett.
Oh, fucking hell! It's not unbelievable!
I mean, it's extraordinary.
There is no predicting that.
Okay, you know what? I can make that dream come true for you right now, Brett.
We can just call you Brett from now on.
Not a problem, Brett.
Brett Pilkington.
It sounds good.
I love the fact that it's the Karl bit he wants to replace, not the fucking
No, but
Pilkington.
that doesn't work either, because like then
Why
I
not,
told
Brett?
because I told me mum and dad that that's what I wanted. They started calling me that, but then I forgot.
They went along with it.
Yeah,
So you said, Mum, Dad, call me Brett from now on, and they went, all right.
yeah, but then I kept forgetting that I was Brett, so I wasn't answering, so they went back to Karl.
It's amazing.
So you've had that dream come true.
Yeah, and it wasn't that good, and that's what I'm saying to you. Things never live up to what you want. Dreams, what are they?
Taking one of the big themes of philosophy further, why are we here? What's the point of life? What is it to be human? The ethical upshots of some of the technological and medical breakthroughs pose, you know, more of their own questions. Cloning, is that a person in its own right? Well, of course it is. What about if you grow that for harvesting without the brain?
So growing kind of vital organs,
Yeah.
presumably in a laboratory.
What about that, you know, stem cell research? Is that, you know...
I mean, there's weird things happening all the time with all this transplant stuff. Read about one who, you know, a way of sort of, you're saying, oh, it's just a bit of meat.
Yeah.
You're saying, no, it doesn't
No,
matter.
what I meant, organs can't have rights and feelings.
No, but
and
listen
stuff.
to this.
Go on.
So,
It's going to be bullshit.
no.
No, the sensors went up.
Would you like a small wager?
Beep, 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 beep. The sensors went up when he said, right, listen to this.
Okay, I'm going to bet you £5, Rick, that this is not bullshit. Don't let me down, Karl.
Okay, I'm going to bet you, they found out it was the heart of a chimp and the bloke's selling like bananas.
Okay.
And the doctor bought it half price at a market.
I've got faith in Karl. I don't think he's going to let me down here. Not when we're talking about philosophy. He's going to have done some careful research.
Okay.
Let's take a wager. £5 is coming my way.
So, what happened is, do you know, like, people do, donor cards?
Mm-hmm.
Someone filled one out saying, if I die, you can have my kidney, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, he died. He said, get the kidney out. They got the kidney out of him. Someone who needed a new kidney, they were like, over the moon, there's a new kidney on the way. But this person who who needed the new kidney had a couple of things.
What?
He wasn't very good at driving,
Yeah.
and he couldn't stand yellow biscuits.
Right.
Couldn't stand yellow biscuits.
Okay.
He just didn't like them. There was
Okay.
something, he didn't know why, he's just never liked them. Anyway, they pop it in, he's having his tests done, he's in hospital for a couple of days, goes home, goes, could do with a yellow biscuit.
What's the fuck's a yellow biscuit?
Just a,
Banana baldies? What are you talking about?
just a yellow biscuit.
Who decides I like all biscuits except yellow ones? Where is this
I'm just telling you what
supermarket?
happened,
Right,
and it
well, I don't
turned
know
out-
why. I don't know what the colour of the biscuits necessarily got to do with it.
It's like a phobia. It's an
Right.
odd phobia.
Oh, so he fears the combination of yellowness and biscuitiness.
Right, so a bloke...
He doesn't mind biscuits. I don't mind yellow. Don't ever put them together. That's my worst nightmare.
So, right, I'm confused as to who's got what, whose
Okay.
kidney. There's a bloke's received a new kidney. He hated biscuits.
He's
that
not
were
very good
yellow.
at driving. He hates custard creams.
Right, but now, suddenly, after the hospital after the operation,
no,
I really
cream.
fancy yellow biscuit.
Yeah.
Okay, does he go out for a drive at any point?
He went driving.
Right, because it's going to be terrible.
He loves
sweating
driving.
all over the road. What?
What? Hold on, what? He
He
loved driving.
He liked driving all of a sudden.
What? But he hated it.
I know, but this is what's weird.
It's bollocks. The kidney is a filter system.
But if you have something for long
It's
enough...
like getting a new tea strainer and suddenly liking Yellow Biscuits and driving.
No.
The kidney has no impact on anything.
No. It's like how if you knock about with someone, you pick up their little things that they do.
Right.
Suzanne kept saying to me, that's a nonsense. I said, stop saying that. You've suddenly picked that up from someone. I said, you've never said that before. And you've done it 3 times in about 2 days. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Christ. Living with Karl. He doesn't like me saying nonsense. I don't know why.
But let's be honest, if you're going to live with Karl, you're going to use the phrase, that's nonsense.
You're going to start
quite a
coming
lot.
up with more and more bollocks, nonsense, rubbish, shit. Round-headed fool, you've picked that up from someone. You've used that 200 times in the last 3 minutes.
Head like a fucking orange.
Stupid fucking bald cunt. Where'd you get that from, Suzanne?
You've said it 3 times just during
Fucking
breakfast.
hell, dim-witted half... Steve, £5.
Yep.
A big question, particularly in the area of philosophy of the mind, is what is intelligence?
It's just... it's what you know, isn't it?
Well, that's knowledge, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's a form of knowledge, intelligence.
No, I don't think it is.
Why not?
Because intelligence, really, is everything from the ability to retain knowledge, to understand it, to apply. It's probably a little bit like the difference between how fast the computer is and how good the program on that computer is.
It's no good. I'd say I've got a brain that can work stuff out. But sometimes, if I tell it too much, it can't remember all of it. Now, if I had a brain that had loads of memory space,
Yeah.
tell me as much as you want.
Well, that's important. That's
And you
important
keep
to. But yeah, but that some people say that's what intelligence is, isn't it? Memory. It's no good saying he's brilliant. He learns 10,000 facts a day. Really? Yeah, he forgets them the next day.
Yeah. Well, that's
Right.
what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but what good is that? Trivia is nothing. It
No,
doesn't
it's
show
good,
intelligent.
It's
It doesn't.
good for chat. It's good for chat, innit? When you're out and about, if you meet a stranger, it's good to drop something in, like, you know,
Go on.
What would you drop in?
To show you're intelligent.
Well, just to meet you've just met me at the bus stop. You think here's a nice fella.
Steve's at the bus stop. There he is. He's there. He's got his little duffel coat on, his little scarf, his file. He's got his little glasses. They're a little bit mudded up where some ruffians are like thrown mud at him, and I've seen this, and he's cried and he shat himself.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, and he's run to the bus stop to go home to his mum.
That's not
okay,
true at all.
so at the bus stop, there he is. You come along, you go, oh, who's this nerd who shut himself?
That
right?
would never happen.
Right,
Would never
right,
happen.
and you
I
sit-
fought though. I had a fight with him.
Yeah, and you go, okay, he's obviously intellectual, look at him. And he's gone, and he's looked at you, and he's gone, Jesus Christ, you look thick. Prove him wrong.
no, what I'd do...
Go on.
There's no point just having one fact.
Right.
I'd wait for him to start a topic, and I'd show my intelligence by having a fact on the topic he's brought up.
Okay.
Because we can all have one topic
Yeah.
that you go, oh, I'll show this off, and then, you know, someone goes, oh, has he been talking to you about the peanut fact again? And
Yeah.
you go, he's obviously telling everyone, then it's just a boring answer.
Okay, so I might just say to you, you know, what are your views on mathematics?
I'd just say the thing with numbers is, there's loads of them.
I remember I told you an interesting fact, once again to try and explain infinity to you, and I told you this. There are as many even numbers as even and odd numbers put together.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think I've said before that I don't think things like that are impressive, because numbers are man-made anyway.
Right.
If you were talking about, like, when you mentioned about there's more insects we don't know about than what we do, then you're going, oh, where are they? Where are they hiding? It
Okay.
leaves a question. The
Right.
fact that there's loads of numbers, it's like, yeah, but at the same time, you could rule numbers out of your life if you wanted to.
Really?
You could live a life.
Uh,
Do you really think that?
Difficult.
Yeah, you could. There's tribes. There's tribes in the Amazon.
Yeah, but they're not
They
getting
only
their food
counted-
from Sainsbury's, are
No,
they?
They count to 3. They don't need any more numbers than 3. And they just have 3 because they go, 1, they know what 1 is, they go, pass us one of them. And they have one of them.
What do you mean?
Anything
What
over,
do you mean when
anything
they
over
say-
3,
Yeah.
they just say, well, you're being greedy. So they don't need it.
But what if they've got 5 children?
How many kids you've got when you're living in a place like that, it doesn't matter. It's not about you're just part of the tribe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Right, where is this tribe that only counts to 3?
It's somewhere like the Amazon or something.
Really?
And there's no more numbers than 3. They don't need it. Anything more than 3, they just say, I'll have more.
Right.
Or give us another 3. But
Give
they
us
don't
another
need
3?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Or another 1, or another 2.
But what if they need 200? That's complicated, isn't it?
Well, you just keep going, give us 3, and then just keep
That seems
asking
a
for
slow
3.
way of doing it.
They've got nothing else to do. They're living in the Amazon.
Alright, I'm at the bus stop.
Oh, here's your bust.
So far, you've told me nothing about maths whatsoever.
So you're concluding that he is dim?
Fucking idiot.
When I was on holiday recently,
Yeah.
I got talking to an old fella, because where I went, it's mainly for old people. I got chatting with him. You could tell he had a lot of money.
Yeah.
He sort of tanned. He had that sort of rouge-coloured sort of jeans,
Oh, yeah.
which is always sort of...
Telltale sign.
It's kind of like he's got money.
Yeah.
And,
The red jeans are twice as much, sir. That's okay, I've got money.
yeah, it's sort of... It's either that colour or yellow. But you
Yeah.
can carry it off when you're an old man, and especially with the tan, you think, yeah, he's got a few
Oh,
quid.
I'm a millionaire. Do you have any yellow jeans? We've got one pair, sir, but no
The
one...
most expensive
Yeah,
of
they're in the back room. Could I just see your bank account first? There it is. Oh, yeah, you can afford yellow jeans, all right, sir. Come this way.
So I got talking to him, and it turns out he had a cruise ship.
Right.
Loads of money. Now, I was chatting to him for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What colour is his jacket?
Said he didn't have a jacket on, just a white shirt.
He's wearing red jeans and a white shirt.
Yeah, sort of leather slip-on shoes that I can remember.
And how old is he?
It's hard to tell because he was well tanned.
Right.
Was he an attractive man?
He's a good-looking fella.
So he's rich, so you saw this rich, good-looking bloke with just a shirt on.
No, he had a shirt and his pink
Yeah.
pants.
His picked hands, and he just went over
Well,
and
I
struck
don't
up a
understand.
conversation
I
with him.
don't know, why did you notice what colour the crotch area was?
What?
Why did you notice what
You were
colour
looking
the...
very much at the arse
I
and
can
the
see
crotch
why
area.
you could see... If you're looking at his face, you could see a white shirt, but
tell
why
you
could you
why,
see
I'll tell you
what
why.
colour
This is what I'm
the
telling you.
fabric around his
This is what I'm
testicles were?
saying.
You saw a good-looking old man sat at the bar. You went out and bought him a drink.
Yeah, you
I
so
was
you
waiting for
noticed
the
that...
barbecue to open.
Right, okay, and
I
you
got
noticed
there
a man's...
early.
So you noticed
So
a
it was
man's
9 in the morning.
trousers.
No.
Yeah, no.
I was annoyed. I
Right.
don't like late nights on holiday.
Right, okay.
With jet lag. Suzanne said, let's go down there early tonight.
Right.
I get there, I find out the barbecue's not for another 40-odd minutes.
What time was
the
it?
holiday rep. Well, I don't know, it starts at 8.
You're
so I have to
noticing
wait for
people,
40
you're
minutes.
noticing old men's genital coverings, but you don't know what fucking time it is.
Yeah, but
Get your story
What I'm
straight.
saying to you is, the
Right.
reason I noticed his pants is because what he was talking about,
Right.
there was no reference points. I didn't have a clue what he was going on about.
Right, what was he talking about for your eyes to wander down to his penis, is what I'm trying to say. What made you look at his penis?
Because I got bored. I didn't know. What I'm trying to say to you is reference points. I had no idea
what
what
was
he
he
was going on
talking
about.
about?
He was talking about how he was in some Cuban war. He told me about how he'd met President Reagan. He told me something about how he'd cut up a cow once. There was
and so,
Who is this bloke? I think he's a maniac
It's fucking
who has
Dexter.
spilt blood on his trousers
Yeah.
whilst hacking up his dead wife. He's gone insane. He's jithering and chatting away, claiming he owns a cruise ship.
he told me he spent 36 grand on furniture. And when I sort of looked at him like, what
You're
have you been
beautiful.
buying? And he's going, oh, well, I needed a couple of shade lounges. And it was just, there was nothing I could relate to.
lunges.
nothing.
Wasn't she in a TV series?
I don't understand why you have no interest in either being in a Cuban war, having met Ronald Reagan.
Because-
why is that not interesting? Why have you got
because
no
I didn't
reference?
know
Well, I don't
anything.
know why the trousers would much more appealing to you. If someone was telling me,
Tell you what,
that-
I was in a
and
war,
then
I met
was-
Che Guevara and
yeah,
Fidel Castro.
Fidel Castro, and then why are you looking at my packet?
So that's my point. It's just
What's
that,
your point?
That you can have a chat with a fella just like I'm talking to the geek at the bus stop. And
He even pointed.
sometimes
What?
you can't take part. What am I meant to say about him meeting Reagan? What am I meant to say about him being in the
Aren't you
Cuban
just
War?
to ask him questions about he was in a war?
When I sort of took it back to, I wonder what meat they're doing at the barbecue, he wasn't bothered.
Yeah.
I love the fact that that's your contribution. He's talking about the missile crisis, and you're going, oh,
He's met
what-
presidents and
Yeah.
important people. He's experienced extraordinary
You
things.
see,
which